How are we doing, people? Hello, everybody. Right. Enough of that stuff. So, before we get started, I'm going to do a wee review. Gene, West Coast Wisdom, actually put me onto this channel called the Jubilee. I think it was aired yesterday, so I'm going to have a wee run through that. Just again, so that we can keep analysing and highlighting some of the issues that I see anyway. You can make it what you will, but it's not very honest as usual. So, hello everybody, I'll come to you in a wee minute. Again, I'm just going to start off by saying to people, look, you know, we're talking about the objective world here. Every single one of you is the scientist. This is not about an appeal to authority or consensus. We're not looking at a particular avenue of expertise in a particular field. We're talking about in general as human beings. We all are born with the same constitution. We have the same faculties as each other. We're addressing the natural world around us and what we can demonstrate to each other in regards to what we find about the natural world. Now, there's avenues of science that, you know, we can look at as an avenue of expertise in a particular field, if you like, which is fair enough. But that does not negate anybody from having the mechanical capacity to understand any aspect of the reality. Because for me, reality has mechanical function. And the majority of people have an ability to have a practical understanding of anything, as long as it's demonstrated to them in a practical way, and you can, you know, break down every facet of whatever it is you're showing them. So first and foremost, you know, before anybody goes running away thinking, I am a scientist and he's a scientist, not that fucking rubbish. We're all scientists. So you're illogical right from the off. And I'm not interested in you if that's the type of mind that you are. You're very weak, very insecure, and you need to be led. So you're in the wrong place for any of that. I'll not be accepting any of that poo-poo. So snap out of it, grow the fuck up, get a grip of yourself. Okay? So, we start there. The next port of call is, what is the natural phenomena we're observing? What in the natural world can you demonstrate to me that can show me any of your claims that you're making to me? Now, as far as I'm concerned, this globular mathematical concept that people believe in is purely mathematical. It is only a concept. It is not a tangible three-dimensional object. There is nothing about the globular heliocentric Big Bang cosmology that can be demonstrated by way of practical physics. It's all astrophysics, theoretical physics, off-world physics. Not interested in any of that. This is where people are going wrong. They fail to understand when we're talking about science, and very rarely do I see it being ironed out. People agreeing upon first principles, what we're actually discussing here. Let's tick the boxes of the bars that we're agreeing upon before we move forward into the topic of discussion. That has to be had first and foremost. So if you're like me, a human being who bases things on what they can demonstrate and experience for themselves, then you're in the right place. Then we can have progress. If you're a zealot, cult fanatic, either globe, flat, concave, whatever earth you think it is, this is the wrong place for you. I'm looking for realists, intellectually honest people who are only interested in what can be objectively demonstrated. Anything other than that is a waste of my time, and I'm not entertaining it. Okay? So, I'll repeat it, the globe heliocentric Big Bang cosmology is purely conceptual. You can attach the word science to any aspect of that, but you have to define what you're talking about. Now, what you need to understand is that it is formal science, theoretical science, language-based, abstract, conceptual-based. Not interested. Fire is hot, water is wet. Jump in fire, you will burn. Breathe in water, you will drown. Facts. Real world, demonstrable facts is the only thing that concerns me. So, that's about it. There's no strawman cartoonery here. Pizza dishes and ice walls and all this nonsense. The claim and the cult that I was born into was the globe. I do not care that I assumed ignorantly that it was true for 36 years of my life. What is relevant is when I get to a point of critically analysing what I assume to be true. The burden of proof still lies firmly with a claim being put to me, or any claim being put to you or I. So, that's about it. As far as introductions go, I could go on and on and on, but I don't feel the need. If you want to hear me going on and on and on, you can go to previous events and you can hear much longer introductions. So, hello everybody. Before we get into it, I'll just say a wee hello to whoever's here. West Coast Wisdom, Steve HV, Mr. Golden V, 791 Mike, One Man He's Detector, Clever Cat, Andy W, Stephen Watson, Flat Accord Music, Mr. Golden V, Selling Alien, Miss Stuart McKenzie, R Green, The Tinfoil Man, Beyond Belief, Free Audiobooks, Terry Hayes, City El Carchi, World Without Curve, Robin Kin, TP in a Tree, how you doing? Tasty Wheat, Titarian Magumba, how's it going? Cheris Rosen, Chris Shastad, Stephen Crumley, Lucky Leo, Mick Bailey, Stephen Watson, Martin Allen, Nicholas, Tony T, Skemicos, Charlie, Bill, how you doing? Martin, Ute, David Marks, Kristen Morrow, Johnny Marta, how yous all doing? So, let me just stick another log in the old fire here. Keep me going. Right, so bearing in mind what I just said here at the beginning, before we have a wee look at this, so I will be opening up once I get through this. It's about a half-hour long video, so we'll see how far I get into it. So if you want to join me and get anything you want to talk about, we can talk about anything, you know, whatever you like. What I specify and ask people is please come with something specific that you want to talk about. You know, I'm not a let's go down the pub and talk about the weather type of guy. I couldn't really be fucked with any of that, you know. Save your hot ear. If you've got something that you want to talk about, whatever it may be, though, let me hear about it. You can come in, you need to send me an email to the above. So as I say, this thing's titled Flat Earthers versus Scientists. So right away, we've got an issue, because it's slanted from the off. What it's doing is putting these other people up on a pedestal, like they are somehow more relevant or more qualified or more intellectual or cleverer or whatever it may be. So it's very biased right away. This is a problem with labels, you know, and why, as I said the other night, people have to stand as the master, stand firm. You're under no obligation to represent any cartoonery, any strawman nonsense propaganda that the mainstream want to throw at you and try and label you with. It's the globe that's under scrutiny. You don't have to replace any aspect of the globe with some other substitute. I'm not interested in religious pacifists and you know, people seeking fucking comfort blankets or any of that stuff. We don't just substitute rubbish with some other rubbish just because people assert that that's what should happen. That's not how it works in my mind. If you don't know something, you don't know. If there's no an answer to something, there is no an answer. Proper scientific investigation should understand that and hold it firmly and stand by that. Okay, so the majority of these people that we encounter, they're no like me, they're no cynics, they're no skeptics, they're no intellectually honest. They always come with a bias. So as I say, this doesn't get off to a very good start from the title. Flat Earthers versus Scientists. Oh, there you go, creating the false dichotomy. There you go, creating the divide. Morons. When are we ever going to get any honesty from any of these fucking dipshits? Is what I would love to know. This is the Jubilee, 3.87 million subscribers. It's fucking disgusting. These people, I'm sick of it. This acting like, we didn't mean to. Fuck off. You don't start out with a bias like that, slanting things. Right away, flat earthers and scientists stare up the pedestal and these are the numbskulls. That's no objective journalism. Where am I here? Let me just see. I don't need that. What have I got that open for? Need this. Right, so let's just get right to it.
Announcement. A lot of folks have been asking for this for years. We're finally giving you the first ever Jubilee podcast called Radical.
A lot of folks have been asking it for years. People like myself and Gav and other people. We've yet to see anybody step forward with any sort of honesty and a backbone.
Full empathy.
That's right. We are really proud and excited to share it with you guys. It actually features an interview with somebody in this.
That's because it's trending big. Loads of people are interested in it, and these two boys here just want to be somebody. Like, share, subscribe, give us money, yay!
This episode, so stick around until the end and we'll tell you more about it.
For now, enjoy the episode.
The one on my right, sphere, if you think that is the shape of the Earth, point to it now.
So here we go. We've got two fucking plastic cartooneries on the table. So, we've got two concepts on the table here. It's not a very good start, is it? For any sort of productive understanding. Two pieces of plastic. One just as ridiculous as the other.
If you think the other model is the shape of the Earth, point to it now.
2, 1, 0, all engine run. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. One small step for man, one giant leap for man.
This is again part of the slant. I will show images. Images is not a objective investigation. Showing images and people seeing images on a TV screen is a huge part of the problem that we have here.
What do you think the shape of the Earth is?
I don't think. I know for a fact it's a globe.
Knows for a fact it's a globe, but he doesn't have any proof of that. And he can't prove it because I know it's not a globe. So how about that, son? How about you come and talk to me?
Earth is flat.
It's like we have this picture of reality that's a big puzzle piece, and then one of those pieces just wasn't fitting.
I'm always open to having a discussion with someone who is holding a wrong belief like this.
So am I. I'm open to discussing it with you, son. Come and see me. Let's have a discussion because you are holding on to a cult, idiotic, nonsensical belief. A total absurdity. How'd you like the maples?
Are you willing to change your mind on this?
I'm not. The evidence.
Well, I want to change my mind. No, I'm not. Scientist. Ali's a scientist. Says so. So it must be. He's not open to change his mind. What kind of fucking scientist is that?
Is so much. Nobody wants to be a flat earther, but if you showed me incontrovertible evidence, I would.
See, this is a problem here again with people getting on mainstream. And they don't define these things. They just allow these filmmakers and these people. I don't know if it's just the drive to be important and be in the TV and be seen by millions that blinds them to being strong, saying, fuck you, don't throw labels at me. If you don't like it, well, I'm not taking part in your shitty little show, because guess what? The truth's more important than me just being seen by millions of people.
Definitely go back. Who wants the ridicule?
Where do you want me to get from the discussion on the other side?
I'd like to tear them to pieces.
This, it's not even a discussion, this. As I said, it's slanted from the off. It's this versus this. This plastic model versus this plastic model. We brought flat earthers and scientists together. Again, why are they not sitting here saying, let's define what a scientist is? Let's define and lay out the parameters of what we're actually discussing here and what qualifies each individual. When we're talking about the very same world that we all share. So when we start getting men claiming they've got superiority over another man in regards to being able to assess the world we're living in, we're dealing with an idiot.
I'm Jim Underdown, Executive Director of the Center for Inquiry West in Los Angeles and the chair
I thought it says there he was a scientist.
of the CFI Investigations Group.
I'm Spencer Marks, one of the senior members of the CFI Investigations Group, Science Advocate.
A science advocate. Say he's a scientist. See what I mean? This is all deliberate. It's subtle and subliminal. Because in people's minds, they're still weak. They're still disempowered. They're still lending attention to authority and consensus. So wee labels like that sways them. Oh, these guys are smart. Say scientist under his name, so therefore, whatever he says, I'm going to have to side with him. I don't have to analyse the content. I'll just see the label and that's enough for me.
I'm Marina Yeri, I'm a theoretical physicist and...
A theoretical physicist? Fucking wonderful. What about actual physics, Ali? What about some actual physics? Practicality. Physical reference stuff that we can actually play with in 3 dimensions and quantify. Ali. Not interested in off-world fantasy concepts, son. Is this the best these people have got? This is all we ever see. Theoretical alleys.
I'm with the University of Irvine.
I'm Wendell Walton. I am a Chief Learning Officer for a young startup.
I'm Shelley Lewis. I'm a graduate of West Point.
Again, every single one of them under their name, flat earther. A loaded term. People viewing this are just getting triggers that have been put there by mainstream, their education system. Flat earth, loaded, loads of images, preconceived ideas, all rushing to the forefront. So people should be smart enough to know that when you do that, people are already in a preconceived bias before they're even paying any attention. They've got these filters that are blocking them from actually objectively hearing what's on offer or anything useful to them.
Critical thinker and jumped out of the airplanes.
My name is Dan Glatman. I work...
Critical thinkers. I don't want to be too harsh to these people, but you're not really a critical thinker because you're not standing firm in your ground and standing up to these people. Again, I have to question your motive.
Work as Dan the Waterman in the drinking water filtration industry and I'm a truth seeker.
I get my flat earthers on the left and my low earthers on the right.
So they're being dictated to like wee puppets here. I'm like, fuck off, mate. I'll sit where I'm sitting. All these are signs for me that somebody's testing your gullibility. You never seen the experiments? where somebody walks into a waiting room, there's already a person there, and a wee bell goes off, and the person that was already there stands up. The other person kind of goes, oh, I better stand up. Just to see if you're susceptible and can be bent. You've got to look out for these things and have serious vicious contempt for it any time it rears its ugly little skull.
Only step forward if this is true for you.
Only step forward if this is true for you in case you can't read this or hear it.
I believe the earth was created by a higher power.
Here we go again, we're creating a divide.
Well, I've been a
What's that got to do with any of it?
Christian for 30 years, so the Bible is a flat earth book.
This again was another avenue that I spoke outward about, and people didn't like it again. Don't bring your religious ideologies into this question. It's just going to be used to, trigger the preconceived, loaded ideas in people's minds. This is why people like me get frustrated. All this shit is weighing it down, dragging it back, slowing the whole process while fucking time ticks on.
You have to take it literally. Like, for example, in Isaiah, when it talks about how the earth is like a clay wax seal that's stamped with upturned edges, that's just not some fancy story. That's a simile. It is like.
Right, absolutely. Right? And in Isaiah it talks about too, and I'm a Christian, he who sits upon the circle of the earth. There's a difference between a circle and a ball.
Well, exactly. Yeah. If you look at the original Hebrew, it means disc. There's over 200 scriptures in the Bible that point to a flat earth.
Doesn't matter what it says in books. All books are irrelevant to your faculties and your ability to assess the world you're living in. There's no requirement for you to bring in any of that in.
So this notion that you need God or some higher power to create the earth or the universe is very old and was initially posited by people of a pre-scientific age.
See, this guy's a fucking absolute walloper. I've got a real fucking distaste for this guy already. He just rubs me up the wrong way.
Since then, we have learned quite a bit about...
Before the scientific age, as if everybody back then, before fucking these morons and their universities and their fucking idiotic pseudoscience appeared in the scene. Well, like cavemen are just daft. This guy's already displaying his utter pomposity.
The universe coming into existence, when that happened. Modern humans...
Oh, and I suppose this fucking cockwarmer believes that it just appeared from nowhere for no rhyme or reason. Nothing fluctuated and caused the whole thing to just appear. Because I'm scientifical. Prick.
Don't get their cosmology, they don't get their physics, they don't get their knowledge of the universe from the Bible or any ancient text.
It's sort of like the God of the gaps. Once people.
I guarantee you that every one of they cockwombles recite text from fucking books, just the same as the religious people. Copernican said so. 2,000 years ago, sticks and shadows. Gravity equations. Where's your practical references? Arse bandit. You got any? No, you don't. You're just another fucking bumbling fucking fool. Talking utter shite. But sitting up on a false pedestal thinking you're something. And you're no. You're just a clown. Like the rest of us. So wind your fucking neck in, wee sacks.
I used to believe that lightning was God's wrath and throwing these lightning bolts, but once we understood it was a natural process.
Oh, these archaic stories that apparently people said, oh, it's God's lightning, because this is the story they've gave you, that we were all retards. We were all retarded cavemen, and now these are the brights, these are the far advanced peoples with wee robots and Mars and all that. and that people said, oh, lightning bolts was God. Oh. Where did you get that? Where did you get any of that? The people that formulated things like the trivium, the quadrivium, built some of the great architecture. I highly doubt that's the shite they were spewing, son.
God shrank a little bit more because now we...
This is subtle, subliminal, undermining that's happening right here in front of you. Because these are sophists, right? This is about trying to win people over by using manipulative means. This is not an open, intellectual, objective discussion that's happening here. Far from it. And we're only 4 minutes and 17 seconds into it. I keep telling these pricks, see your old archaic, shitty, hypnotic fucking pseudoscience psychology tricks that you think work. They don't. Not for people that are smart enough to see through it. So you better just change your fucking game.
Couldn't attribute those lightning bolts to God. We had to attribute that to the real science. And the other thing to the point...
The real science is the ionosphere being charged by radiation from the coronus mass ejaculations from the fireball that formed in the vacuum of space 14.5 billion years ago. Oh really? How did you figure that out? Cause reasons. Scientific people said so. Brilliant, son. Fucking wonderful.
The Bible specifically for me is, why is that one particular text the correct one? You choose to believe that.
Shut up about the Bible, you utter creep. See, this is the premise they're starting off on. And they're laying it out. Again, subtly. So already in people's minds, they've already formulated the opinion. These people are Bible bashers. These people are religious. They're coming from a religious point of view. And we're scientificals that are going to correct them.
That's fine, but there's so many other writings and so many other books, so why weren't they correct? Why is just the Bible correct?
Well, what you'll find in a lot of these ancient religions is
why are you not just cutting them off and saying, look, never mind the Bible, never mind religious books and texts and appeals to consensus and authority or any of that rubbish. Let's just get right to the fucking chase here. Where's your measurable proof? You get any practical demonstrations of this plastic crap known as the globe?
With religions. All their cosmology goes back to being a flat earth with an enclosed system. So it's not just the Bible that teaches this. It's many different religious books.
So one problem I have is to trying to explain phenomena happening in nature by holy books. Those are religious books.
You don't need an explanation of phenomena in nature. You can just observe it. You can just play with it. You don't need words. I don't need words to set you on fire for you to understand that fire's got to burn you and melt your fucking skin. I don't need words for that. You know I don't need words for that. So does everybody else. So, again, why are we not laying out a discussion about, well, what's language really got to do with this?
Those are not books of science. And it is wrong to infer or deduct scientific readings out of those books.
My name is Wendell. I am a logical, biblically based, and scientific flat earther. I didn't start out, and no one starts out as a flat earther, but I had a lot of questions. So I actually got to the point where I had to go out and put my own eyeballs on it. So we went out to an observation at Salton Sea, and things just didn't add up down there. So
again, here we are, we've got somebody reciting visible proofs. It's just as bad as the globe earthers. Without an account for the human eye and what's actually going on. Never mind your eyes and lasers and all that stuff. See the substance that you're looking over. It has definite physical properties and features and behaviours and characteristics that we can observe, make predictions, test, and then put into practice that we utilise and use in everyday living. That doesn't tell lies, doesn't need a language, or any of that stuff. Are these people deliberately no learning? They can't identify where the ambiguity is, where the problems are occurring in regards to discussions with other people. Obviously not.
We've gone back probably a dozen times. And
let me see this again. Where scientists and flat earthers frequently perform experiments. What, looking? Oh, I looked. That's not an experiment. There's an actual phenomena right in front of you called water. Focus on that.
So we've gone back probably a dozen times, and I can guarantee you that there is no curvature over distance.
The internet has played an important role in confirming my view of this topic.
So it says the internet has played an important role in confirming my view of this topic. Oh, I wonder where they're going with this. I wonder if this is going to be slanting it into the, people get it for YouTubes.
That's the problem.
Oh, and he just said that, that's the problem. So they're just, this is all, it's starting to feel staged. And they're just playing right into this crap here.
We have the advantage of information today that's outside of channels 2, 4, and 7 and the few networks that are corporately owned. It's pretty easy to say YouTube isn't research, but when you spend enough time, you're picking up quite a bit, and with the discussion groups, panels.
What that man said is absolutely spot on. You know, it's not just about YouTube videos and hearing it from somebody. If there's a practical reference that you can go to, it's very, very useful. Just as I've made the point before, I can go to YouTube if I've got a problem with maybe a car or something I've never seen before, and I can look for somebody that's came across that problem, and then I can see or learn from them how they resolved the problem, and then I can go and put that into practice, and lo and behold, oh, that worked. Wonderful. So it's a very useful tool. You could just put it right back on name, peer-reviewed. Aye, some dick sniffer that agrees with me said it was good work, therefore it's a pass and everybody new believes he's it. Because peer review. No, it's no biased and slanted, no. There's no people with invested interests that want to keep funds coming in. Nah, there's none of that, it's no corrupt in any way, shape or form. No way, never.
We've gone against opposition, we've opposed ourselves. Surprisingly enough, flat Earth is its own worst enemy. So it's not that easy for us to come to consensus, and we find that consensus is orchestrated and not actually scientific.
Well said.
You know, my grandfather used to tell me growing up, never believe anything you read in the newspaper, right? He told that to me. Now, with the age of the internet, it's like, how much of this misinformation are you getting there? And when you have...
The thing about the internet and misinformation is when we're talking about objectivity, you should be able to go out and demonstrate it to yourself. That's the difference. That's the difference in the separation from something like 9/11, where it's gone, you weren't there. You don't have the capabilities to be there and experience it to formulate a proper understanding of what actually went on. So you're going to get misinformation, information passed left, right and centre. It's all hearsay. Unless, of course, it's a piece of information that you can verify or falsify by way of practicality. If the practical reference is missing, you've got an issue.
Like eyewitnesses taking video of something, you do have to take everything with a grain of salt. That's why, because of my my multimedia background, I knew that all that stuff could be faked. Take it into Photoshop, take it into After Effects.
Okay, this is at the core of the issue of why there are so many flat earth believers out there right now.
See, this guy, again, takes this intellectual high ground. He's an authority. This is the core. I've got it all sussed out, so I'm just going to tell you how it is. Fuck off, you insecure wee fucking cocknob. What are you about, son? Cunts like him just rile me right up. See, if I was you, sonny boy, I wouldn't come anywhere near me, because I'm just going to rip you in two. I don't mean literally. You're too easy. Again, if that's the best yous cocksniffers have, yous are fucked. When it comes to people like me.
The problem is The information from someone who decides to start a website or produce a YouTube video is not reliable. When I have a toothache,
That's not reliable. No. I couldn't show you how to change strings on a guitar on a YouTube video because it's not reliable, apparently. This is the illogical shite that people at him come out with. What he's trying to do is whittle it down to take everybody's attention away from anywhere else and just focus on the outlets that he wants you to focus on because he's a biased, illogical, lying little shit stain. Sorry, I'm just going to out you right away, son. You've been rumbled. You're too easy.
I go to a dentist. When my car breaks down, I go to a mechanic. When you have questions about cosmology, you should go to an astrophysicist. You should go to a...
When you get questions about your objective reality that you share with everybody else and people are telling you that bodies of water are bending and there's curvature out there, you have to go to an astrophysicist. Somebody that looks up at the sky. That doesn't look down here or care about any of the stuff here. They just look up there and come out with abstract concepts about fantasy realms. That's what you have to do. That's what stupid arse here's telling you.
A physicist, you should go to people who have spent years and years studying these ideas, not some 6 minutes.
It's not an idea. Again, listen to the words that he's using. Study these ideas. Yes, because astrophysics is an idea. It's a concept. It's not something you can demonstrate. It's fantasy. So he wants you to ignore your own constitution. Don't empower yourself. Go and listen to a fucking arse rat waffling on about the sky. That'll say stupid shit like, well, there's circles up there, so there's a circle. Or something.
Minute YouTube video. There is a percentage of people that if
see if there was something wrong with your car, sir, you could go to a YouTube video. There's very reliable people on YouTube. Yes, I know some of them. And I'm sure they could help you identify the problem with your car and probably even walk you through the steps of being able to replace the component or fix the problem yourself. But you probably think you're above that. You don't want to break your nails or get dirt under your nails. Eh?
A YouTube video that was not within their scientific chops to refute on the face of it would believe anything out there.
One of the things I will say is NASA.gov has their own documents out there that we get to vet, which is through the...
Never mind NASA. You're on here with the premise that NASA are telling lies and then you're going to try and use them when it suits you. That's not very clever.
Freedom of Information Act. And would you agree that NASA documents, if they're on display, that we should be able to go and research inside there?
NASA is not proving that the Earth is flat.
Well, they say it in 14 of the documents.
You should read what NASA says, and you should listen to what...
Fuck
I would
NASA.
love to see your NASA evidence that the Earth is
It's
flat.
only their contradictory issues
Okay,
that
let's
bring
see.
us here.
We're all familiar with the Earthrise photo, right? The Earth is rising over the moon. We're all familiar with it. As a NASA, you can go out to the NASA site.
Oh, I've seen a picture of the telly. With a moon horizon, although we're on the moon with the same faced us all the time, but fuck it. And the Earth appears to look the same size as the moon does to us here on Earth. And it's a picture that's scientifical because we said so. Because we've got belief and faith. Like religious nuts.
You can download the original, right?
I already know what you're going to ask.
So you bring up the luminance on it and you can see where it's cut out and pasted there.
They're showing us doctored images that are clearly doctored. The blue marble...
Never mind, again, this is a problem. And I don't want it to come across too harsh, but I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Images are no measurable scientific proof of anything. That's what should be said and stated clearly. Ask them, do you accept images as scientific proof, a justification for you to believe something is real? Ask them that. Watch them wriggle. And then if they say yes, they're fucked. Because then they're opening a can of worms up to any image that has to be accepted as scientifical in their illogical fantasy world. So get right to it. Cut it out. Not interested in images. Don't care.
is a very famous image from 1972. When you talk to the artist from NASA, his name is Robert Simmons, he talks about exactly...
Images are irrelevant. The images that they're depicting are contrary to what we experience as an actual reality. We don't experience curvature. We don't experience bendy water. We know fine well pressures have to be contained. We know fine well that you can't have a low pressure and a high pressure system and no barrier between the two of them, and they maintain their stature. These are physical traits that you can actually demonstrate. So the images are contrary to what we know and experience in everyday life.
How it was created from data, and it's not a photograph whatsoever. He added
So what?
clouds.
Let me explain.
He added
Hold
a
on.
highlight of the
If
sun.
you take, on your phone, most phones have that panoramic image. When you do that, you're taking a series of pictures, and the phone cleverly stitches
I'm
that
just saying
together.
how it's
Hold on.
presented. It's
Hold on.
presented as a real
So when
photograph.
NASA takes real photos and they either clean them up for color or they stitch them.
He's obviously got a bias and an investment in NASA. He's got his tongue right up their arse here. If you're smart enough to see it, I mean.
Together so it's one large image. It doesn't mean they're CGI.
Displaying his
You're
bias
talking about
clearly.
composites. I'm what you call a globe denier. You could even get me into a virtual construct if I can't find the borders myself.
What shape would you say you think the Earth is?
It appears to me to be a stationary plane, as opposed to the vastness of infinity of space. I would find it to be an ice plane where we have a localized sun and our environment thrives there. These particular people have misled us on television. This is a brilliant opportunity to speak. We've been suppressed, censored by mainstream media. Alternative media is just a thing of beauty for me.
I view the other side as uneducated.
I'm running.
I'm running for this. Well, they certainly think they're educated.
And they're following quite a bit of,
See, again, these are the parameters that people think are acceptable. Oh, you're educated, you're no. And people are making judgment calls based on these things. This is an idea, a formulated structure of what they call education. And then it's got a hierarchical system, a pyramid structure where a power at the top dictates what the curriculum is going to be and what's going to be laid out and taught. And then people are passing these grades and whatever else and giving gold stars. And then that's it. It becomes a norm and established in society that they have to be respected as some sort of superior intellect just because they jumped through the hoops that this system created. Are you a human being? Are you awake? Are your eyes working? Is your ears working? You get balance? You get smell? Right, cool. You're in the same par as me then. Now let's start from there. So what's all this stuff about bendy bodies of water and curving earths? Let's go and see if we can sort this out.
the university system, what we call scientism.
Right, scientism.
Obviously is the belief in what's written, where we tend to be exploring in the field with physical properties, not theories of any kind. We're using actual measurements that are calculated not by our guidelines, but the guidelines of
that should have been laid out at the beginning, and you know, that should have been established and agreed upon and asked of these three clowns what they're actually talking about, defining the science, what it means, getting it all ironed out before we move forward, so there's no ambiguity and we've got a clear understanding of what we're expecting.
science as we know it. I can only hope they're uneducated as opposed to disingenuous.
Well, that's the other thing too.
These
We
three
know
guys that are there are disingenuous.
On a large scale, the government has been disingenuous, and they're pushing a narrative, right? So it's hard for us. I mean, I'm sure that you've met people too. It's like, look, are you haven't looked into it yet, or are you a shill? Are you part of a disinformation campaign?
I don't think you guys are uneducated. I think you're wrongly educated.
I think the problem...
See again? Wrongly educated. Because it's moronic, it's illogical, retarded. You're not educated, you're just wrongly educated, which translates to you've been wrongly brainwashed. Because nobody is being taught how to actually think and discern. The curriculums don't contain any aspect of that. Absorb, regurgitate, repeat. That's the curriculum. That's the system that we have in place right now.
With what I've seen in the flat earth crowd is...
That's how you end up a deluded moron like him with the glasses and the cap on.
It's not that they're undereducated, but they, instead of looking at evidence and letting the evidence guide to where the ultimate conclusion is, they start with a conclusion and then they try to cherry pick evidence to support their pre-drawn conclusion.
Is that right? Is that what people like me done? No, it's not. Talking about evidences and all this and that and the other. Where's yours? What have you got that can quantify the globular earth? Nothing. Fuck all. Do you know how I know that? Because I went and tried to find it. Without any bias. Without any conclusion. I actually started out going, please, I need to find something that will satisfy the assumption that I've held to be true. Because, I've got cognitive dissonance going on and I need it to be true.
They cast away all the bits of evidence that actually is contrary to their beliefs.
I think that
just like you, son. Aye, body's a water day bend. I can't demonstrate it in any way, shape or form, but look at my picture. Because that's all you've got. So again, these dipshits sit there in their wee bubble thinking they're safe and secure with their intellectual fakery. Delusions. Saying these words when it's actually them that walk that walk. Everything is geared just to fit the image that's been produced by these institutions. That's it. Astrophysics, theoretical physics, all this equations and hogwash, sophistry, language, all there just to support this plastic, idiotic toy that you see on your TV screen.
Very well educated as well as you are, Jim.
Certainly Ali is probably got the best education of
yeah,
all of us.
Exactly, and he paid for it too. But more and more professionals are coming on board. They're starting to question their reality. So the thing of it is once you start to really take a hard look at the evidence, and you are unafraid of just standing for the truth wherever that may lead you, then people end up becoming flat earthers.
I'm hoping to be able to tell our side of the story from the inside out. So many times, flat earthers are depicted.
So again, this is just kind of playing into this dichotomy, again in people's minds that we're a separate group and that this is a separate group and it's somehow a battle. And that just fuels that by continually playing into it, rather than just eradicating it right from the off.
The outside in. And I want to be able to share with others empirical data that proves the earth is not what we've been told.
I have changed my mind at some point about this topic.
So
again, you see these people stepping forward, because that's the truth of the matter. That's like these dipshits are showing you their zealotry. These other three. Because I, and probably these people, assumed and believed that it was a globe, and then displayed intellectual honesty, discernment, strength, to be able to have a look at it and change your mind.
I was 12 years old. I went to space camp, and I met Alan B. Shepard.
Oh, nice.
Yep, and I wanted to be an astronaut, and I wanted to be the first woman to walk the moon.
Oh.
So, for me, I'm a glober. I went into this.
Has anybody ever came across any of these characters out of curiosity? I've never experienced them. I don't know if they've got channels or whatever it is. I'm not sure.
Wanting it to be true. And my husband told me he saw this thing about the fake moon landing. And I was like, you're absolutely crazy. There's no way that the moon landings are fake. And then in 2010, my husband was killed. And so I never really developed that until around 2014 when Flat Earth kind of came back up. And that little voice inside my head said, remember the fake moon landings? Remember when that was brought to my attention. And then I started really critically analyzing that. And I would say, you know, just looking at that evidence, if they can lie about the moon landings, they can certainly lie about pictures and satellites and other things. And so I started going down that rabbit hole of studying. So that was my influence from my
How many
husband.
lies does it take to make a liar, right?
And being ridiculed for being inquisitive is pretty tough on us. I wouldn't say
Exactly.
that I've changed my
And that's another huge aspect, as the man's just pointed out there. You know, we're talking about institutions and a society that's rattling on about them being scientific and all this stuff, but yet they actively, as I've experienced over 5 years, you know, pursue you with fanatical type behaviour of nothing but propaganda, slander, misrepresentation. Rather than us having a society where we applaud, like previously, I don't know if anybody's seen the Roger, I can't remember his name, Roger Moore, is that the right one, is that James Bond, I don't know. Patrick Moore, who back then, I think it was the 60s, went and interviewed different people who had a different view of the world, different cosmologies, and actually applauded them and said they were the epitome of the free thinker. So we've got a real issue here when we're looking at society just at that level, when we don't open up, and it's particularly when we're talking about science, and why it isn't, you know, applauding people for continually stepping forward and asking these questions. Again, if you're somebody or an institution professing to be representing objective inquiry, and that's the behaviour you partake in, then you're showing your true colours.
mind because my mind isn't set. NASA is solely designed to change my mind. It is, from its inception, from its discovery, has been a television program, it's been a space program to sell us on something that they've yet to actually show us.
Perfectly
Show
said.
me a globe.
Perfectly said before we get to that, but that's exactly what it is. It's a product that you see on your TV screen. It's not a tangible, three-dimensional object. Only a product. That's why they can't prove it. It is only language they have with an image, as I said before. They've got all this abstract nonsense to try and support this image. The guy talking about setting out with, you know, an assumption already made and then trying to prove it. That's exactly what the Globe did. There's a picture, right? Now we need to come up with nonsense to explain how it's possible.
Spinning with clouds.
And again, I don't want to see anything from NASA. I'm not interested in what you can offer me through your TV screen. Again, you have to be very cautious because they're advancing their visual technology. And if people keep asking them to produce this and produce that, what are you going to do when they produce it for you?
And a moon, show me home, and I think I could shut up quite, easily. I think I could shut up.
The timing of your conversions is interesting to me. 20 years ago,
Well, here's shit sniffer already. You know, the timing of your conversions is interesting to me because he's going to try and label it with some straw man pish here. Guaranteed. I says right from the off, this clown rubs me the wrong way because I can see he's a dishonest, sophist, lying little shit stain. And I'll tell you right to your face, son, if you've got the cojones to sit in front of somebody like me, but I doubt you will. You say, oh, you swear at me and you'll be intimidating. No. That's not how I act when I've actually got somebody in front of me, unless you're just an idiotic troll. So let's see if you can step up to the mark. Just you and me. See what you've got, sonny boy.
flat Earth world was tiny and insignificant. Enter the advent of the internet, YouTube.
Well, it was tiny and insignificant, yet, you know, apparently there's cosmologies for times gone by where, you know, it all shows that. Where it was a level Earth. And all the calculations and how they navigated and the instruments that they formulated were based on that. It's the globe that's a new kid in town. With the invention of television.
online discussion groups, all these new available places where you could find information about everything.
This is true that the evidence as you looked were not robust evidence. And the sources you used, they were not reliable sources again. But my problem is that...
He keeps using the word evidence. Again, this is not a court case. We're not talking about, you know, a robbery. We're talking about the objective world and the phenomena within the objective world. Like fire will burn you. That's no evidence. Would you call it evidence if I come up with a flamethrower and set you on fire? No. You would know it's a real world fact. Before I even ignited the fucker, you'd be shitting yourself. Because you know, fine well, it's a real world fact that you're going to burn to death.
And I like you guys that you...
But they need that language, evidence and evidence, because it's an idea. They need to sway you with wee tidbits of stuff, ambiguous nonsense.
Are very skeptical. But at the same time, you're not skeptical about your belief system. That should have come first.
You think that...
At the same time, he's constantly just trying to take the upper hand, a smarmy, fucking pseudo-intellectual crap. They believed they lived on a globe, son.
That's my foundation for why I believe the earth is flat. And I'm telling you, you're wrong.
Good on you.
I have evidence that proves it's flat.
Good on you.
That proves it's not a ball.
That's what I'm saying. Show a wee bit of teeth. Don't let them sit there with their smarmy attitude and their uppity nonsense, thinking that they can dominate over the top of you.
What type of... We're being misled. We're being deliberately misled by mainstream media.
What's your evidence?
We see too far. We see too far. We should not be able to see. I live in Dana Point.
Okay.
I can see.
We see. Again, this is weak. There's no mastership role here. He's putting you in the position of answering to him. So just be like, shut up, you clown. Take that hat off and grow the fuck up. Where's your fucking proof that it's a sphere? And don't show me an image. You can't do that. It's not amicable. Fuck him!
See San Clemente Island, which is 60 miles away.
So what? What do you mean, so what?
No, I'm on the beach. I'm on the beach.
What do you mean by so what?
I'm on the beach.
And even when we get into this is it. So what? They'll constantly use visible proofs and then just come up with ad hoc nonsense to try and explain away. You know, they'll give you how far it should be covered and what should be hidden, and they'll cherry pick it. But then when somebody says, well, there's an observation, a visible proofs that's contradicting what you've told me, they'll just say, so what? So what?
Yeah.
Can you see a ship which is going?
Let's talk.
Oh, here we go. Can you see a ship that's going? Yeah. Straight in front of you. We'll just ignore the left to right. We'll totally ignore that. Well, that's more damning than anything. Again, the reason why it's always straight in front of you is because there's an issue with light getting to the eye and the fact that we're so close to the ground. As I'm going to repeat over and over and over again. Go to a coastline, identify two land masses with a separation between them. 30 miles. 350 feet of deviation from one point to the other point. Now put a straight edge up to that. Machine the straight edge. Make sure it's perfectly flat, perfectly machined, so that there's no deviation, it's no bent, it's perfectly level. Level meaning no deviation in elevation from the start point to the end point. Now let's put it up there. And let's see if it deviates from left to right. Guess what? It doesn't ever. Ever. But sophist wanker here, he wants to put a ship straight in front of you. Nah.
That goes over the curvature of the earth. I love it. So science has said that when I see a ship go out of my field of view, it's going over the curvature of the earth.
Yes, and when it's going over the curve of the earth, same as a sunset, when it's going down at the curve of the earth, and you elevate up and you look downwards across the sloping earth, down into space where you can see the sun down below you. Because that happens, doesn't it? That's what happens. That's what always happens. When a sunset or a boat goes like that, you elevate up and you angle downwards so the horizon remains fixed so that when you go up, it's down the way. And ships are down there, you can down the slope and the sun's down there below you. That doesn't happen.
Correct?
Yes.
But then I bring my P900 up, and guess what? I can zoom it back in.
Not
So
all
is
of
it
it.
Get
going
smarter
over
with
the
your responses
curvature?
to these clowns. Get smarter with your responses.
They're not.
Absolutely.
Oh, not all the
You
time?
can't.
Not all the time?
No, you don't see all the ship. The bottom part of the ship is hidden by the
At that
curvature.
distance.
It's hidden by the curve of the earth. Fanny boys here said so. So, hold on a minute. We're looking out, right, and first and foremost, the floor's rising up like this. And then it's going down like that. How's that work? How's that work, son? Again, would any of you cockwombles like to come here and discuss that with me? I'd love to see you fumble and mumble and shit your knickers in front of me. Your nonsensical crap.
You shouldn't see the top
At
of it
all.
either.
If the Earth were truly flat, there would be really hardly any limit. You would be able to stand at the top of the Empire State Building and look towards Chicago, a mere 1,000 miles away, and see the lights of Chicago.
Oh, if the earth was flat, there shouldn't be any limit. Fanny Boss here just said it. He's saying it. If the earth was flat, there wouldn't be any limit. You could see 1,000 miles. Where are you getting that from? Have you got cartoon eyes? Have you got cartoon eyes like your cartoon globe? Telescopes that can extend out hundreds of miles and 1,000 miles so you can see? Is that what you've got, son? Again, just admitting vision, perspective, how it works. Fuck that. Just say stuff. Just offer up word salads and assert it so that it kind of sounds right, and the gullible morons watching it will go, aye. If it was flat, I could see New York from fucking London. Aye. These fannies are trying to perpetuate people's fucking stupidity. Scientists, my fucking arse. The only scientist you are, sons of science and utter delusional crap. You're an idiot. Thicko. Again, a perfect example of the state of this idiotic structure that we have that allows fannies like you to sit there saying stupid idiotic nonsense like, if the earth was flat, I could see 1,000 miles. Fuck me.
Go at night.
No,
Why would
no,
you?
because you have an
These
atmosphere.
cunts better be embarrassed, because I am ripping the piss right out you.
Disturbance.
Very thick.
I've been
Water
into
alone.
astronomy since I was 10.
It's faulty logic.
I've been into astronomy since I was 10. Yeah, so I've been looking up at fucking lights in the sky since I was 10. So somehow I'm superior. Fucking great.
It's completely faulty logic.
And then I have a more interesting.
Okay.
So she gets cut off. She's telling it's faulty logic, but we better not let her get into it. Because we need to keep it biased, so I'll just cut you off there.
One of the big things I do is investigate extraordinary claims like flat earth.
Oh, you investigate extraordinary claims? Well, here, son, I've got one. It's an extraordinary claim being put to me that's contrary to my direct experience. It's contrary to everything that I can demonstrate to myself and anybody else. And it's been put to me by an image on a TV screen. It's absolutely absurd. Really ridiculous. So would you like to have a look at that?
Tourism or ESP or
Flat Earthism or ESP or... Here's an extraordinary claim that should be investigated. Somebody put scientist under your name. That's a way out there. Extraordinary claim. Where are they getting that? I think you love yourself. I think if you were chocolate, you would eat yourself every bit. Look at you. Your wee hat on. Setting a fashion trend and all that. I am somebody. Oh, I have a persona. Cock.
all sorts of different things. The Earth is undoubtedly a globe and not...
Well, there's an extraordinary claim. Proof fucko. Where is it? You dishonest, lying little toe rag. Where is it? Hurry up and bring it to me.
Flat. This is well supported by gobs of science.
Oh, well, let's just say it. Well supported. Say it with gusto. Well supported with gobs of science. Where? Could you direct me to some of it, please? Ships over the curve. And Eratosthenes with sticks. It's just not got to cut it, I'm afraid, son.
Scientific consensus is possible.
Scientific consensus is possible.
What is the question?
I don't understand the question.
Scientific consensus is possible.
Possible. Anything is possible. I mean, anything is possible.
No, it's not. Standing bodies of water bending and conforming to the exterior of shapes and objects and displaying the topography upon the surface. That's not possible. That's impossible. That's idiotic. So, no, everything's possible.
I've got a tremendous issue with consensus and peer review. I've been spending a lot of time arguing with people that argue the other side. And I found that surprisingly, consensus always wins. It was shocking to me that the group with the majority has an incredible advantage.
Exactly.
As scientists, flat earthers, truthers, punks, we're at an incredible disadvantage.
Let's talk about scientific consensus for a second. You're never going to get 100% of anyone. There is scientific consensus.
I'd be stopping that clown and telling him, look, mate, don't fucking speak to me like you're some sort of authority. Wind your fucking neck in, or I'm going to fucking bitch slap you for constantly trying to antagonise me, you wee wank.
Consensus on a global Earth. There's scientific consensus on evolution. A lot of big issues.
Use the word theory.
Do you know what a theory in science is?
For fuck's sake, here we go.
And a fact is a fact.
Don't mistake this word theory.
You are.
In science, it's not conjecture, it's not...
It's an explanation. Is it by definition, it's an explanation.
What we're getting into here is the realms of existential narratives when they're talking about theories.
It's a deep...
Well, let's talk
So
about
this
a
is
fact.
something
Show me a
people
fact
made a
then.
mistake.
Why
They
aren't
think
all
theory
facts
is-
theories?
In science, the word theory is the highest.
Constantly talking down to them. Constantly talking down to them. Again, this is the problem because it's not been established. At the beginning, what aspect of science are we talking about? Are we talking about objective inquiry into the natural phenomena of the world around us?
Level that you can give something because it's so well supported.
What about a fact?
It's so well supported. Like standing bodies of water don't curve, mate. Water has no form. It will find the lowest potential energetic state, which is a flat line. And it will only deviate from that if there's some reason, something acting upon it. And I don't mean gravity. 100% of the time, that's what happens in the objective world that you can go and test for yourself.
That is a fact. It's
not a fact you would call it a
You know
fact.
why? Do you know why? Because in science, there's always room for improvement. There's always room to find better, to tweak and find better information.
So that is
It's talking about models, pseudoscience, crap here, existential storylines.
how science works.
It gets better, refined over time, as opposed to flat earth theory, which never gets refined. It simply is what it is.
New idea.
Again, he's just slanting here talking shite. Listen, mate, you're saying all that shite, oh, there's room and there's it. No, there's no. I've had nothing but fanatical zealotry, propaganda, misrepresentation, lies, deviousness, sophistry, all the traits of bullshitters. There isn't any room to move or any of that stuff in your globe crap. It's a fucking echo chamber, a cult.
Ideas have limited access to media and limited exposure. Until we're in a university
Starting to get fed up with
curriculum,
this.
we will continue to appear uneducated.
Well, that's not true. In the history of science, we had many occasions that the idea it was not welcomed by the society. Einstein was one of them. Galileo was one of them. But if your theory is an authentic one, and it can be go through this hardship of scientific method, eventually.
Aye, let's put it through the scientific method then, arse rash. Let's put your plastic globe through the scientific method and see how it stacks up, because I guarantee you've not got anything that can get through the scientific method that supports a globular Earth. Absolutely fuck all. It's a concept that relies on formal sciences, language.
Will win.
I used to believe that science was after the truth, right? We all just want to know what the truth is. Science has been trying so hard to divorce itself from the idea of a creator when God's intent was to create science to lead you to Him. You know, sometimes things seem supernatural that we are able to explain later through, science. Okay, I understand. But there are other things as well that are supernatural, that go beyond the natural, that we can only...
Supernatural is the wrong word for me for you to say. You use metaphysical. Thoughts, emotions, memories.
Explain through believing in a creator, right?
This is my big issue with science, scientific approach and non-scientific approach. You are absolutely right. In science, we are after the truth.
No, you're not, son. If you were after the truth, you wouldn't be sitting there with your smarmy attitude, spewing crap about fucking boats going over bendy, rotund oceans that are ramping up in front of you and then dipping away. I mean, come on.
We are hoping by each day we're getting closer and closer to the truth. We never get that.
Getting closer and closer to the truth of what? Again, what he's actually showing you here is his narrative, the existential question. Theory of everything. Bullshit. That's no science. That's desperately insecure and weak, desperately looking for certainty, and coming up with all sorts of rubbish. 1 + 1 = 10.
Never.
Well, I know that's true for you.
No, that's a science. That's you guys. You think you do have the truth. Now let's
No, you think you've got the truth, son. You've got nothing to support it.
the evidences, as you were mentioning. You do have the conclusion. Let's find the evidences. Science doesn't work that way.
Aye, it does. Mainstream science is doing that every day. It was a big bang 14.5 billion years ago. So let's look up at the sky and we'll find stuff and we'll just make up stuff and say, aye, that's it. Oh, there's a new galaxy.
Well, you are saying you are referring to Jesus, who many billions of people do not believe, including myself.
And many more billions do.
So what?
So who's right?
Of course I can.
When you say that we start with a conclusion and then try to match everything to make it work, like that to me is complete dishonesty. That is not true.
Well said.
No, you're not. You're making that assumption, which I think science does a lot of. So do you make assumptions or not?
As his assumption,
Make assumptions.
you ask him to support what he's just stated and watch him flap. You say, I found one isolated case or a couple isolated cases and now I'm just being illogical and generalising. So that's exactly what he's doing.
Science make
Yeah, we do make assumptions based on things that are well supported and proven and reproven.
I can make an assumption. Do you know what? I can dig a trench and I can just assume that when I dig that trench, I can just dig it willy-nilly. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill it with water under the assumption that water's going to tell me whether or not it's level. And lo and behold, it will. Because that assumption is based on a formed understanding of an actual substance in my reality that doesn't tell me lies. So we can all play that game. As I said, mate, you're no bright at all. Neither's any of your other wee cronies, and neither is anybody that I've yet to see that supports the globular Earth. Every single one of you are morons.
We don't have
Show
to.
me how you isolate gravity. If gravity
We
is
don't
an
have to-
assumption, you show me the scientific method how you isolate gravity.
Oh, there we go. She's just made a valid point. And again, oh, that's a good place to stop. Let's just stop there. Totally slanted this. Totally slanted. Anything that becomes a threat, cut in. Let's move on.
Yeah, sure.
You're like a moron to understand.
I just want to check in. How are you guys feeling? How is this discussion going?
I kind of feel like I want to develop some of this stuff a little bit more. It feels high level, but I feel like there's so much that I haven't really even touched base on.
Nobody's touched on anything yet.
I certainly didn't think that anybody was going on either side was going to flip.
Make no bones about it. This is a hit piece. That's all this is. This isn't an honest discussion here. This is slanted. Whether the three people taking part are aware of it or no, that's exactly what's going on here. It was never intended to represent things truly with intellectual honesty. Not an iota yet. Certainly not for these three dipshits.
Vote for you, Wendy. And Shelley. I don't know about Dan. Vote for you too. But, you know, it's certainly, I'm glad it's a civil discussion, certainly.
Oh, yeah.
Put your waters to the side and we'll do the other wrong.
You understand?
Good. He flipped! Window, welcome aboard. Lock on it.
The greatest moment in television history right there.
All right. NASA is trustworthy.
So,
NASA's trustworthy just because.
I mean, obviously, any organization can be wrong with certain things, and they may have individuals that lie or deceive or something, but as a general organization.
Or something. You should just have to play it down. The institutions and organisations are not corrupt. Are looking out for their best interests. Nah. They're always objective and honest.
They're looking for the truth.
Yeah, the idea that
He's decided. He's just decided that NASA are looking for the truth. Where's he getting that? How does he know? Is there anything you could offer up to support that?
NASA and the government is lying to us about the shape of the Earth is the height of conspiracy theory.
Oh, it's a height of conspiracy. No, what's the height of conspiracies is you fucking idiot, trying to play it down. Governments lie all the fucking time. When you create a structure of hierarchy, you're breeding corruption, you complete and utter bellend. What a smarmy, lying little cock this guy is. Can't stand him. Based purely on his fucking dishonesty that he's displayed for me.
In order for this to be true, the literally hundreds of thousands of people who at some point over the last 50 or 60 years would had to be somewhat complicit in this.
No, they wouldn't. Again, this is a lies here. They'd have to be complicit. No, they wouldn't. So let's just take it back a wee minute. He probably accepts that there was cosmologies and everybody thought that the Earth was flat back then. So were they all lying then? Based on what you've said? They all must have been lying. Before NASA and their wee fucking fireworks came along and decided it was a globe. So everybody was lying then. Is that what you're saying, mate? Is everybody that works for the banks, are they all complicit in the corruption and the lies and the extortion and the bullshit that goes on with the kind of institutions? Is that what you're saying? What about the religions? What about the Catholics and the priests touching wee wains? Does that mean everybody was complicit in it? Just because you decide? What a fucking prick.
And nobody spills the beans at all is, on the face of it, completely unbelievable.
The private does not know what the general is doing. There's compartmentalization happening all the time.
Of course.
So it wouldn't be that
course.
far-fetched. Has the government ever lied to us is really the question at stake.
We all agree on that.
Yeah, but now we have NASA.gov, right? And absolutely, they're not lying about anything. They're completely transparent. Everything is
Well
true.
said.
We'd be
No,
foolish to
there's a
think that's
difference
true.
here.
Look at sack sniffer there. Wasn't expecting her to say that, was he? The fucking idiot.
I'm sorry, this is a fallacy here. There's
Not a fallacy.
I'm sure it is.
Go
See,
ahead.
Oh, you're sure it is? Where's the fallacy then? You've just admitted that government institutions tell lies. So it's not a fallacy to be sceptical, is it?
you were talking about a government. Now you're talking about an agency of the government.
NASA.gov.
But this agency is scrutinized by thousands and thousands of scientists around the
Where?
globe.
Where? Show me where they scrutinise it. Show me.
You are dealing with smart people, believe me.
Oh, here we go. That's again trying to take the upper hand. You're dealing with smart people. Believe me. Believe me. Emotional fucking psychological bully. You wee wank. A fucking predator. A little snivelling, bullying fuck. Just because you're an insecure, weak little spastic. And now you're displaying it for us.
I
Dealing with smart
I
people.
don't deny that.
So it is very hard to do that. Once or twice, maybe. Not for the all time.
Raise your hand if you think we went to the moon.
What is the proof? Hundreds and hundreds of pounds of moon rocks and dust. And we have distributed those freely to PhD scientists around the world. And not one of those geologists have said, what is this?
Then
This is-
prove it to be fake.
Fuck off, I've done enough of this. I can't be fucking arsed with these cockwombles anymore. Fuck you. Fuck off. It's no wonder I invoked the pissed off angry man. You're dealing with that shite. Constantly. What is this? So, again, yeah, you know, try to say to people, you really need to be prepared if you're going to get yourself involved with mainstream. Right? You need to have an attitude. You need to have the right attitude. You need to be able to see through all their sophist crap, all their subtle NLP nonsense. You know, these guys displayed serious insecurity, weakness. And you should be pouncing on them and have no remorse for it. Absolutely none. Don't show compassion to it whatsoever. Just expose them. It's them that have got the faulty reasoning. It's them that are displaying the dishonesty. So just let them crumble. Right. Right, I'm going to open up now, so let's see if anybody's requested. For any of these dipshits, remember, people, you know, I invoke a certain character and contempt, and I display certain things for these behaviours and these traits. You know, when I meet people and I'm in actual reality and I'm having real discussions, that's not what you're going to get. This is my YouTube platform, and this is where I choose to express the way I want to express. So all this bullshit about, oh, we're not speaking to you because she'd intimidate you, because shout at us. It's pish. The reason that they'll not come here is just because they know they're not going to get away with any of the tactics that they try and use. Absolutely none whatsoever. Nobody wants to talk to me. Am I that bad? Am I that scary? Right. Well, nobody's joining me, so Billiny mates. I'm going to cry. Need a cup of tea. How you talk to me, Steve HV? You're scared and intimidated and all that rubbish. He's done. I need we were parched after that fucking shit show. So aye, again, you know, just we continually see this stuff. Surely, you know, it's abundantly clear. People that are viewing these things, you know, the gullibles, the gullibles that just want their wee bias reaffirmed will see it whatever way they like, because they're not smart enough to understand the sophistry and tear apart what's actually being stated. They've just not got that capability. So it will have the desired effect, which is all these people are looking for. They're just trying to keep the majority that they can under the hypnotic trance. That's all they care about. They'll not have me on any other shows, or as I said before, of you know, curiosity. I've went, you know, when some of these mainstreams have asked me, and again, you know, I've told them straight, I'm recording it, I'm filming it. You represent me any other way than it actually is, we're going to have a serious problem, and they all shite it. So if I've not got any requests, you'll need to speak up from the chat box. I never posted the link in the chat box, Arthur. I was waiting to see if I had any requests, so maybe post it in the chat box in a minute if I don't get any requests. But we know what we're going to get. I'm using the big fag papers, aye. That's exactly it, Marlon. When they know you can break apart their pish, their rubbish, they're not going to come near. Again, it's just a display of their weakness. They're looking for avenues to portray and you know, trip people up and whatever else. But with me, it's not going to work. Not because I'm special or anything better. It's just because I know their game. And I know their globe model shite better than they know it. Because I'm one of the people that I like to, you know, dig in to make sure that I understand things and that I'm not missing anything. I think I will, Rod. I think that's what I'm going to actually do. I'm going to start putting these people right in a position. Find out where they are. Take my camera. Put them right in the spot. Right, Gav. Let's see here. Right, Gav coming in. See what Gav's saying to it, and then there's no request, I'll just stick it in the chat box. Cool hard lozzies in her tit. They're just tits. They're absolute morons. All these globe proponents, acting like they're scientists and that, they're just all full of waffle. Go to every one of their channels, Simon, Plamf, the whole lot of them. They don't have anything to support a globe. Absolutely zilch. Nothing. They're just propaganda agents. That's it. They'll never offer you proof of a globe because it's not real. Unirock, he's an air clown. All these people that set challenges out and this, that and the other. The platform's been open for all this time. They never show up. Shit scared. Weak. It's great. Gav.
Dale, my man, you hear me?
Aye, can you hear me?
Aye, sound, I can, aye.
Nice one. How you doing?
Aye, sound.
I'm just going to share everything. You there?
I'm indeed, aye.
Aye, did you see that thing?
Aye, I was just loving your dismantling of it, Dale. I admire your patience in going through that. You only made it palatable to everybody else because of your cutting humour and dismantling of the bullshit. So thanks for that.
I can't help invoking the contempt character and the fuck you, because it's just the same shit all the time. There's no other way to deal with it. It's not that I can sit here and go, oh look, he's doing this and he's saying that. It just doesn't occur. That's not how I feel about it.
No, I mean it should make everybody angry. Especially the fact that maybe a lot of people see themselves where they were 5 years ago, falling into the same idiotic traps. I mean, I believe all these documentaries are I don't think there's an honest one in amongst them, Dale. The people who pay for the production get a say in how they get made. That's part of the deal. That's the contract you enter into with the spondyl exchange hands.
Exactly.
So I don't believe any of these things are so, how should I say, spontaneous like a chat on a Google Hangout on a Saturday night.
No.
My man, do you know what I mean?
But you can see it, there's
They're all scripted,
Aye, and there's wee bits there, like, oh, put your bottles to the side and stand here and do this. You're like, fuck off. What is this, fucking primary school?
That's what it's like. Even in the corporate level, they play these wee stupid games,
Aye.
Talking at the beginning of meetings, Fucking nonsense.
Aye.
It's all part of a psychological condition, though, right? It's all to get you into a certain state of mind of acceptance and, how should I say, passivity, right?
Yep.
Exactly the opposite of what you're expressing, Dale, and that's how everybody should be expressing themselves, yeah?
Yep. Exactly, man. It's the whole, can I go for a PP? It's like fucking Pavlov's fucking Dougs. Like, fuck off.
You're really smart. Is it all right if I go to the toilet? Tell me where the toilet is.
Aye.
Right.
Aye. So, and the labelling, flat earth, this person's a flat earther and this one's a scientist. The guy's telling you he's for some fucking magazine or something. I mean, what qualified him? What's, it's a whole issue. There's never a laying out of the first principles, what we're discussing, laying out the parameters before we get to the actual topic. So there's no ambiguity that, we can hold each other to the things that we accepted in the first place. It's a fucking disaster,
I mean, the way I describe it, Dale, is that, it's common sense that keeps us honest, and it's the thing that brings the enjoyment and inquiry and brings the truth out. And that's also part of, why they always want us to kind of deny our senses, right? We're not supposed to trust them. We're not supposed to understand how we work. We're not supposed to understand, the way our minds work, apprehending things, judging things, reasoning about things, all these different processes that go on in amongst us, right? And as long as they don't educate us on how that works, how that functions, then, they can pour in the bullshit right in through the eyes, right? Which is where everybody gets their visual attention without thinking about what's actually being said to them.
Exactly.
And we pointed out this many a time, you get the language aspect and people, telling you narratives and stories, and it always comes back to the same thing for me as well. The other first principle, aside from the common sense, is they start to discuss the qualities of things without attaching them to bodies.
Yep.
Right? So these things only exist as mental objects, and that's all mathematics is. It's all language is, right?
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? It conjures images and ideas in your head, right?
Yep.
And gets you into a belief and a conditioning state where you can accept it.
Exactly.
So,
that's why I keep repeating it over and over. We're talking practicality is the bar. It's got to be. If it's no practical, it's no demonstrable in a practical fashion. What are we going on about here?
Yep.
I just wish more and more people would cotton onto that. They get too caught up thinking that the language is relevant and somehow has to play a part in it, or and that's where they're getting bamboozled by the use of rhetoric. So.
Yep. No, that's absolutely right.
Right, it's infuriating, just as you say. People they're not being educated. It's all about disempowerment, and as you say, by overlooking these things, by no focusing on it, it's just continually, reaffirming the disempowering state. That you're not capable, you don't understand properly, but these other people understand more than you do, so just accept.
That's right. Then people just go straight for the credit of authorities, right?
Yeah.
Of people with names and labels or some kind of hierarchical status, whatever hierarchy and discipline, right?
Yeah.
So, people just fall into that trap then of believing whatever's being told to them by these people or by that higher level, yeah.
And as we spoke
Sad.
about, and as we spoke about and predicted before, you can now see them trying to own aspects of, people like us and reverse that now. You people start out with an assumption and just try and find things to fit your, all that stuff. It's like, fuck off.
They're actually using the arguments that the level earthers have been, telling them and trying to spin it the other way around. I mean, you pointed out now a number of times, we're all supposed to defend a flat pizza dish.
Right.
No, fuck off.
So,
they've twisted it round. Twisted the burden of proof, spun it 180.
Right, and you can see it evident in all these supposed debunkers. It's all debunkers in regards to a straw man. Where's the proof of their straw man, their cartoon? None of them have got anything. The best you'll get's some baldy wanker with a whiteboard fucking dabbing it. That's the best you're going to get.
He's got new friends now.
Aye.
Fucking unbelievable. But yeah, that's the mentality, that's the statement, son. So.
Thank you very much.
How's it go?
Thanks.
You're welcome. Hi, Gav.
Hi, Emma.
How about everybody else? How about everybody else?
I'll say hello to everybody else.
Aye. So, I never expected anything different. But to be fair, I think a couple of the people there did try to hod. And the woman in particular, she had a wee bit of teeth but she was being cut off. When she was starting to go into something relevant and highlight it instantly twice there that we witnessed, they cut her off. Oh, we'll just stop. That's a perfect place to stop. So it just goes to show you.
There'll be all that kind of shenanigans in the post-production process. That'll be cut to fit the script.
Yeah.
But I also thought she acquiesced too easily, right? She said things like "go ahead," when he actually turned the burden, on the illogical fantasies that they have, right? But it's difficult in these documentaries because if the people aren't empowered with the correct knowledge, if they haven't, also looked at how they work and how they function and things like the eyes and the senses and all these things. I mean, because they're still always playing in that. We're supposed to deny them at some point, and that opens the door then that we then believe the quantification and measurement of things by something that they call science, right? And the quantification and the measurement is the mathematics of the science.
Yeah.
And that's where they'll open the door so that you're supposed to believe that and not, believe the practical, demonstrable, substantial, direct reality in which you live.
That's right.
Every day, every minute of the fucking day, Dale,
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Aye.
Yeah.
And just to touch on it, it's not a critique of these people to give them a hard time You know,
No, I just want to
like,
point out better arguments for them, you know what I mean? The way you do, you know, as well. So
we're all passionate, and that's the reason why I'm doing it. It's not to be one-upmanship or I'm better and you're better or anything. It's not a competition. It's like we're passionate about the truth. We're sick of the bullshit, sick of mainstream being, you know, giving these opportunities to you know, throw out propaganda by using people. You know, if you're getting yourself in these positions, all we're asking is that you're well prepared, that you understand the NLP, the subtleties, the sophistry that they're offering, and you fucking cut them right off with without any remorse, without any apathy or thinking you don't want to upset anybody. You have to be brutal, because at the end of the day, they don't give a fuck about portraying you to millions of people, whatever way they see fit. They have no concern for any of that, you know?
Exactly.
So...
yeah, and then, you know, anybody put in that position, including the people that participated there, and, you know, I agree with you totally, you know, they probably made the best of a bad situation, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, again, you know, anybody who's doing it, honestly, you know, good on them, is all I can say, you know. But you're absolutely right, you know, they have to watch out for the trickery and the deceit that's in there, and people, as you say, are far too acquiescent or run away from it or don't, you know, meet it head on.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do, you know. Brutal is probably the best description.
Again, you have to be, because they're playing on that the majority of people are nice and are probably nice-natured and a bit naive, that they want to see the best and hope that people are going to be reciprocal and that type of approach, but it's just not what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a beast that you have to be fucking on guard with, you know, sharp as a fucking tack with all your arrows ready. You know, it's just the way it is. If you don't, they're just going to slow the whole thing down, keep muddying the waters, and we're going to get all these issues, you know, being bombarded with nonsense continually by fucking zealots who are being seeing this shit on mainstream or popular channels and coming along thinking they're all charged up with, you know, proofs and idiotic questions, and it's just boring.
Right. I mean, but I think that was also part of generating all that bullshit content, right, around pizza dishes, because if you've got all that content out there in whatever form, then you've got people, whatever, questioning it, finding answers, coming up with new theories. So you've got them battling pizza dishes, right, against spinning space balls. So, and then, you know, that's just the way they want to perpetuate it, obviously, and they keep hoping that they're going to keep everybody in that fucking circle.
That's it.
But, you know, we can all stop it, at least with our own kids, right? Make sure that they get it, right?
That's it.
And I just hope that enough people wake up still soon.
And people keep pointing...
Before I stuff it, you know?
That's it. That's the problem, mate. You know, people forget this. I'm in this because I want the actual truth, and time, every day that goes by is another day lost. You know, and closer to that end where we're not going to get it. So that's where a lot of the frustration comes for me, and people misconstrue that. They don't understand and put it in context that it's justifiable frustration and annoyance, because, you know, we've got the right to have the answer to these fucking questions, you know?
Yep. Right, no time stops for no man and all that stuff. So they are holding back the proper conversation that has to be had, the real discussion that needs to be done, the first principles that need to be agreed on, and you know, all these things. So.
And all that's leading to the ultimate goal, which is the exploration of the place, so that we've got a proper, full understanding. We don't have fucking oppressive dipshit governments, you know, deciding that we can and can't go here, there, or wherever. Get these people to fuck. You know, but to get to that, we have to wade through this discussion so that the awareness is there, and people have see the relevancy, the importance of it, they're equipped to understand what's actually going on, and it's not just this perpetual hypnotic state of a false dichotomy and keeping people in the trance while they display idols or characters on mainstream doing the battle so that they don't have to think. It's you can see what they're up to, you know.
Game of Thrones.
Well, I don't know what that is,
whatever, you know, I'm just throwing that name up. Don't watch it, never watched it, but serious bullshit, you know, canned laughter, you know, nonsense fairy stories, you know, a lot of science fiction all the time, horror, zombies, you know, fantasy for the kids, you know. I mean, forget Walt Disney, you know. That's just that's the toddler age that they get them. I mean, it's deep rooted.
Funny enough, I watched a wee video, you know, earlier on, you know, the 10 top places you and I can't go to You know, Walt Disney's you were talking. There's a place in it called something 33 next to the Blue Room or the Blue fucking restaurant or something. Thought it was interesting. I'll need to have a wee dig into what that's actually about, but hey,
Is that them hiding adult humour the way they do in children's films, isn't it?
It's a place in Disneyland apparently, I think.
Okay.
I've never heard of it, so just when you said that I brought it up. Club 33 somebody's put there, aye.
There you go.
Anyway,
okay. No, as I say, I can't think I've seen one production deal, one video, or one of these so-called neutral documentaries. I can't think of one.
No, there isn't.
that actually fits that description.
It doesn't exist, so for me, people should just turn their attention away. Again, I've got to ask the question of motive. Is it really about truth? Is it really about cutting to the bone? Is the drive because you've got a messiah complex? You want to be somebody relevant and important in a trending question? I mean, what people have to really understand themselves and ask themselves the questions. What is my incentive here? Why am I motivated to take part in these things?
Yep. Yeah, what the fuck are you doing? Yep. Especially the people, whatever, are still defending this cult belief.
Yeah.
Not honest enough to go to the real roots and ask the serious questions. As we say, starting from the fact that we are all equal, we share the same faculties, we're all made of the same stuff, you know. We all have the same power to use it. We are all the scientists, if that's the label you want to give it. There's nobody above the other.
No.
And any of these, shows, I'll call them, that start in that setting, Dale, and you pointed it out. I wouldn't trust, just because the environment cannot produce a result that would be favourable, I don't think.
No.
Yeah? Just because of the way it's set up. The way they set up a debate instead of having a discussion. Same crap.
But it's slanted, as I was saying, at the beginning, because they're said flat earthers, scientists. Again, they're creating that chasm. Just as you've pointed out, and I've continually said over and over, when we're talking about the world that we're sharing, you're no better than me. There may be an avenue of an expertise in a particular line, I understand cars better than you do, but that doesn't give me superiority over you. You've still got the ability, if you put your attention to it, for me to, help you to understand it and show you the practical reference. So it's this continual pedestals and hierarchy that they're playing out all the time. It's so boringly obvious.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do. Yeah, it's the steps in the pyramid, or the degrees by which you learn something, or you know what I mean. And there's always these hierarchical structures in place that is supposed to keep you in your place, and mentally, most of the time, right? Obviously, there's a physical implication to that generally, that you end up at the bottom of the pyramid in slavery or whatever.
Exactly, but it's a use of language again. It's like starting off. We don't have a label, we're just people and we're exploring the world. And then somebody goes, well, we'll call this science. And then, but we'll make these different branches because you're pursuing that and and then it all becomes divided up. And then before you know it, you're into abstract mathematical nonsense, because such and such pursued that avenue. Yeah.
Still there. No, I mean, that's the sad thing. And the good thing is the people who are, if you like, denying that bullshit, the globe, and looking at this stuff in an honest fashion, are much more, grounded and smarter, Dale, at the end of the day, because they know more about themselves, probably, than these academics. They're the ones that still really fucking irritate me, Dale, because they're a couple of steps higher up in their, so-called hierarchy, right? That, they're finding it harder to get fucking grounded. Do you know what I mean? They've got their head so far up their arse, or their head so high up in the clouds, or so far into deep space bullshit, right? That they just won't get back to Earth, properly, or they get there last. You know what I mean?
Because they've bought into it. They've put their attention to that's a relevance. They've actually bought in and set it in stone within their own being that this hierarchy and this ladder is the be all and end all. So once they start progressing on it, it's like oh, I can't let it go because it's encompassed their whole being. They set it up for themselves, you know. And then you get people like me come along, well, you just come back to that wee guy, you know, oh, it's not a property of vision, it's no this, it's just anything other than to just look at himself and admit that he's waffling. Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of shit you're up against.
That is what you're up against, exactly that. Right. Not wanting to admit that they're not telling the truth, right?
Yeah.
You know, that they're actually guilty of a falsehood themselves by doing it, right? Because they haven't judged of it. They've just went into repetition mode of something that they've learned, and they haven't judged for themselves whether it's true or not, and whether they should be saying it the way they're saying it or not, and what the implications are of what it is they're saying. You know, all these things they've just skipped over, Dale, you know?
Well, I'm supposed to be smart, so anything I come out with must be good. You know?
Yeah. Well, as I say, they're the ones that irritate. And it's actually embarrassing that, you know, for those people who think themselves so smart will probably be the last to understand it properly. Do you know what I mean? Because because of that whole hierarchical structure and mental repetition. Because it's nothing to do with critical thought or honest inquiry, right? It really is just, you know, benign, repetitive drivel. That's all it is.
Aye. That's it. It's you get back to what that guy was saying. He's talking about the cherry picking, starting out with an assumption, and that's trying to show that to people. Look, you've got an image on your telly, and they've got all this sophistry, explanations, equations, all there just to support this image because it's no real. You know, it's them that are up to that. It's no us. Again, if we're offering it, well, we believed it was a globe. We're the people that are displaying the honesty, the resolve to be able to work through these things and come to an understanding. And we're standing here saying, well, if you're going to tell me that this substance or these things are behaving the way they are, demonstrate it. Bring it to me.
It's pretty simple, isn't it? I mean, we're not asking much, really, are we?
No.
I mean, just what we do in daily life, really. But
that's all been watered down with all this straw man nonsense and all these avenues that people are wandering into with religion and saying stuff they don't have to say. Losing the mastership role, being the person being questioned. It's fuck. I could go on and on about it, but.
Yeah, no, it's frustrating just, because you wish everybody would be, whatever, had the knowledge or the correct way to handle those situations. And obviously everybody goes through their own learning process, and I'm not saying, everything that's said here is talking, the be-all and end-all.
Of course not.
It really is. You just wish you could get them there quicker. Do you know what I mean? When you see people like that, you say, I just wish you could sort of download, that at least what into their heads so that they can make a better judgment. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. But it's that aspect here. It's really simple. It's not that's the problem. It's all the other, layers of hypnotic bullshit that you have to get by. The preconceived, the triggers. It's all that, it's not just about the aspect of the topic, it's all the other layers before we get to the topic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Aye. That.
Aye.
We'll have a bit of fun. We'll stick it in the chat box, mate, we'll see what happens.
There you go.
There's
I'll
nothing
just
else.
take a wee break for the toilet, but I'll be back in a minute.
No worries, I need to switch that off just in case we get palm ballers. Billy was, is that you just found out about John Harris? It was years ago. It's Club 33 it's members only, and it costs about 35 grand to be a member. Then it's a yearly cost of over 20,000 or more a year. Cheers for that, Bill. Talking about that Club 33 thing, interesting. I never had me dig into that, see what that's about. So what's happening in the chat here? People, the ground is not a ball. There is no inverse curvature anywhere on Earth which is required of a spheroid by Euclidean geometry. Euclidean geometry wouldn't apply to a sphere anyway, Nicholas, would it? Doesn't work on curved surfaces. Everything would be way off. Shh, can't say that. But it's just locally flat. It's locally flat here, and then when you go over there, it's still locally flat, and then when you go there, it's locally flat. It just continues locally flat, locally flat. So where's the curve then? It's on the telly. It's on the TV screen. Hubert, you can come in here and have a discussion if you like. Never mind flat models and all that stuff. Where's your globe proofs? You don't have any, son. Now the platform's open. I'm going to ignore your comments. Come in. Locally flat everywhere, so that's it. I'm a free man. I'm bound on this fucking system. I don't have the resources to fucking get out of it. That's the fucking idiotic crap of this system. And even at that, if you get the wealth, you're no free for it. You're still part of the ideas, the concepts. You're no free. You're still contained within the perimeters that you're allowed. Facepalm, what's going on, Stuart Mackenzie? What's happened? Exactly beyond belief, you'll never come in. Is it fight the flat earth? Is that clown still going? Must be making money. Talking rubbish. Any takers? Maybe a short evening. I might be going to watch the boxing. So the other things I wanted to discuss, but I'm going to save that for during the week. Utilise the whiteboard and stuff. We'll talk about vision. We'll talk about some of the aspects of this globe nonsense. Again, I was touching on it earlier with the stuff going over the ramp that goes up in front of you. You know, like suns and wee boats, and how when you elevate, you're never looking down at any of these things, and you don't have it left to right either. So we'll just keep hammering these things and keep highlighting it. Probably take the camera out. Probably me and Dan will do some wee observations and highlight some stuff. We showed it before. You know, we made the thing with the pipe. You know, sea level, showing the horizon intersecting the pipe. Then we go to elevation and showing that the horizon's still intersecting the centre of the pipe. These things are impossible on a geometric sphere. You know, these things are an impossibility. And again, we'll just keep highlighting that they don't have the left to right aspect and why they're continually playing on the straight out observation. We'll also try and understand a wee bit about, you know, your perspective as an individual, you know, and how it may be working, and I'll utilise the whiteboard and some wee drawings, you know, because if that's good enough for the globe, it's good enough for us, isn't it? What's going on? Pictures on a screen. I can't actually, you know, fathom why there's still people coming with pictures on a screen. We can have a look at Superman flying about in space if you like. Does that mean Superman's real? I could show you Superman next to the globular Earth. So you've got twofold. You can prove Superman's real and you can prove the globular Earth. Because I can show you a picture. Emerald Rider, how you doing? Mark of Melbourne. These people don't even understand that their whole being, existence calibrated to a level, all their internal workings, their balance system, everything, it's calibrated to a level. That's the geometry of experience. Vertical, you're plumb, and you're horizontal. And you've got every other direction that comes from that. They're morons. Which Marvel hero are you there? I don't know. I was never a comic booky, cartoony, I want to say geek, but I don't want to hurt your fuses. I wasn't one of them. Funny enough, I was talking to Xander about this, you know, and movies now. I remember watching Superman and stuff when I was a kid, and it was great. I've watched wee clips of some of the latest stuff, and it's just over the top rubbish. It's kind of less believable for some reason. You know, like the old early Superman stuff with Christopher Reeves. I love that shit. So I'm going to pull them out and sit and watch them with Xander, stuff like that. And they always had a better wholesome kind of message, the movies, when I was a kid. I don't know if that's just me, but, you know, it was definitely the case for me. That's what I see, you know. But hey ho. Aye, that's it. I liked him as well. Well, just in the interest of fairness, there he's go. There's a link again. Feel free to join me. No, there was a message here. David. Probably ringing, I'd be cut off. That's what I kind of would actually like to see you in person again. Better that way. No worries, David. Well, people had messaged me before. I spoke about it a wee night, you know, darts or poker. So I'm going to look at what's happening in the next couple of weeks and get that out there. It'd be good to see some people, you know, a wee night. You know, even if, you know, people can come if they're not going to play poker or whatever. I just want to get a wee chat, a wee catch up. We can do that. So that'll be happening in the next couple of weeks. Aye, that's the kind of shit you get, Steve HV. First of all, how does my Hoover work? Exactly. First flat, how does my granny get up off the toilet pan if he has flat? That's the shit you need to put up with. No, I never got a Unirock email, Stuart Mackenzie. I'm sick of these people. They make these videos and then you don't even know they exist. And then they expect you to somehow turn to their demands. You know, this platform's been open. We've been here. We've always been here. These people know fine well we're here. But they shite it. They just make nonsense, misrepresent, tell barefaced lies so that they can perpetuate their wee delusion and milk their wee audience for money and super chats and all that rubbish. If they really cared about truth and progress, they would have been here long ago. They're morons. No interest in them. They want to speak to me, they can stop making their wee idiotic videos and come and speak to me direct. That's how it works with me. Well, was he here? Was he Stuart Mackenzie? It's always the same. Unicock. Well, he's probably still waiting in the wings. They're probably sitting in some wee dipshit server, all scratching each other's fucking sphincters, making memes and all that stuff like wee fucking nerdy, childish dipshits. Where are these lads? Stop running away. It's becoming obvious these are just a bunch of shite bags with nothing. You can keep up your wee charade of making your wee videos and getting lauded off the chaff, thinking you're relevant and important. It's not going to change me. None of that's going to define me, silly. So, chop chop, where are you? Our sphincter says what? I'm no fun for that. One man, he's detector. Right, one more try. Let's see what's going on here. Noises, noises. Who's this? All right, mate. How's it going?
Hey, good brother, how's it going?
All right, all right.
Just thought I'd pop in and say hi, mate. I haven't been keeping up with the chat. I'm on my phone, mate. I'm doing 20 things, but I thought I'd just pop in and say hello, mate. Welcome. Nice to see you again, mate. Always a pleasure.
You too, man. You too. How's life treating you?
Thanks, brother. Well, I'm doing a bit of this, mate. Hang on. Can you see that thing, mate?
I can see the chainsaw.
Bit of chainsawing going on, mate.
I'm no, I can't share the screen just in case we get a troll in playing porn, mate, you know, so...
Yeah, no, fair enough. No, I'm surprised this thing's working, mate. I've never done a hangout on the phone before, so it's working. That's fantastic.
Excellent, excellent.
What do I want to say? I'm not sure. I've missed a lot of the hangout this morning. I'm not sure what you're up to. I do recognise, I'd like to say, there's a lot of trolls going on, as we all know, and disguised as friendly friends.
Aye.
And I'm getting a bit of grief, and that's okay. And I'm just pointing out to a few people that people they think might be friends are often not their friends, you know, and they try and drag them into all sorts of strange conversations and arguments, and it's not the way to go.
Aye. People need to be cautious, mate.
Cautious. Well, I've learned a lot, you know, from you and from my own experiences, and I've learned a lot. And one of those things is, well, you can't really trust a lot of people that seem to be your friends, you know. That's very, very, very clear. Yeah. And as we get older, we learn that, right? Bloody lies and deceiving all over the place. It's a shock. It's a shock to us innocent beings, I'd say.
That's it. That's the problem, you know. The majority of people I think are genuine and nice, but that comes with a bit of naivety to these predatory fucking manipulators, you know. So people can let their guard down, you know, when they see a friend.
It's true. We are the sheep, right? And they are the wolves, eh?
Yeah.
It's a shock, you know. It's a shock. But anyway, that's what's going on. And friendly types like Concerned Citizen and other people in the chat getting a lot of grief from other so-called flat earthers. As we've called out, and you've called out many times in the past, best not to get involved in this name-calling malarkey. You know, either bring something that you can bring, or shut the fuck up. You know.
That's it, mate. That's it.
So just a word of caution to those people that are getting involved in that sort of stuff. It's a distraction, and they'd love to put you into all sorts of arguments that go on forever. You know, I've had trolls calling me for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and they'd just love to be in front of me, but they're never going to do that, right? Or show their face or anything, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
exactly.
That's all, mate.
Exactly.
That's all, mate.
Yeah, nice one.
Yes.
Cheers for popping.
Yeah, just thought I'd pop in and hi to Gav and all the crew up there in Scotland and wherever Gav is overseas somewhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, fantastic stuff, you know? Just fantastic, a real relief, and it wouldn't be the same without you, mate. That's all I can say. I'm very glad you're doing your thing, brother.
Cheers, my man.
You're very welcome, my friend. I'll see if I can turn this thing off without breaking your phone. Have a good day, mate.
You too,
or good evening, right?
Aye.
Cheers.
Easy. Enjoy, mate.
Cheers,
Enjoy.
brother.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Take it easy.
I'll turn this thing off now. I don't know if I can. I'll have to turn my phone off. Hang on a second. Cheers, mate. See ya.
Take it easy, bud.
Bye.
Right. Well, there's no other requests, so I'm just going to shut that down. I'll shut that one down. that's about it. Aye, so as I say, hopefully there was some use in what was offered this evening. As I say, it's not about competition and one-upmanship. It's just a passion to iron out the issues and hope that people, if they're getting themselves involved with mainstream, that, as I say, you've got your guard up and you know exactly how to strip apart not only the stuff that they're going to offer you in regards to apparent globe proofsies, but the other subtleties, you know, the NLP aspects of you know, trying to ascertain the, you know, high ground, superior high ground, and intellect, and, you know, qualifications and other illogical crap that they throw in there subtly. As I say, it's just to sway the onlooker, the people who are still, you know, you've got to remember the majority of people have not been involved in this, so they're still coming from a position of bewilderment, total bewilderment, to what's going on around them in regards to this topic. So you have to be very cautious about that, you know. And for me, if you're passionate and you really want progress and truth, then you should be equipping yourself. You should be honest enough with yourself to think, you know, I'm not going to put myself in that position because, you know, I can't hold my own, you know, or whatever. So just be very careful is the message, methinks. Anyway,
I would agree, Dale. Absolutely. There's, I think the fact that the last 5 years has been an experience for most of us here. But anybody coming new to the day, I don't, you know, or to the whole topic, you know, I don't envy them in any way, because, you know, there's definitely so much more bullshit and, you know, deceit and especially online, and too much disinformation still, you know, offline and online. Right, so that it's really difficult for people to sift through the nonsense, you know, unless they have the good fortune to find this platform. And thanks again for making it happen, Chief.
Cheers, mate. As I say, there's other good people out there that offer up great content as well. You know, it's not just us. So,
I know.
Aye, but you can only just offer what you can offer, innit? And hope that it's of use to people. That's all I can do, you know. So I appreciate it.
You said it.
Cheers, Gav, for coming on again, mate. You know, may get a catch up with you at some point.
I'll do that.
Aye.
See you soon.
No worries, mate. Cool.
All right. Thanks, everybody. See ya. See you, Dale.
See you later, mate. Well, MB, if you get something you disagree with, you can come in then. You know, people are allowed to agree with each other. That's what happens. If you get something that you disagree with, there's your opportunities here. You little fuckstick. I think you're a complete and utter bellend. If you want to come in, I'll tell you right to your face. That's the difference between people like me and you, though. I will take it straight to the horse. And I will tell the horse, fuck you. But you know, because you're spineless. You'll just sit there in the wee chat box, shiting your pants, try to act like a big tough guy. I'll be back soon, people. Take it easy. See you soon.